The hands of intercession, the banner of our strength. The desert wind carried more than just sand that morning. It carried the scent of a coming storm. Joshua stood before Moses, his eyes reflecting the gravity of the news that had reached the camp. The Amalekites had arrived at Rephidim, unprovoked and prepared for war. Moses looked at the younger man, seeing the fire of duty in his gaze, and knew the season for walking had ended, and the season for standing had begun. "Choose men for us," Moses commanded, his voice steady despite the many years that weighed on his frame. "Go out and fight with Amalek tomorrow." Joshua spent the evening moving through the ranks, selecting those with the strongest hearts and the steadiest hands. He did not prepare just for a skirmish, but for a trial that would define their survival in the wilderness. As the sun began to spill over the jagged desert peaks, Moses began his own ascent. He did not carry a weapon of iron. Instead, his fingers gripped the weathered wood of the staff of God, the same staff that had once turned a river to blood and parted a sea. He climbed the rocky slope until the valley floor looked like a vast tapestry of movement far below him. Down in the heat of the valley, the clash of metal rang out against the canyon walls. Joshua moved with the grace of a man who understood his purpose, leading his people against the fierce warriors who sought to block their path. Dust rose in choking clouds, and the outcome of the struggle seemed to hang on the edge of every heartbeat and every breath. High above the chaos, Moses reached the summit. He took a deep breath and raised his hands toward the heavens, the staff held high like a beacon. As long as his arms were lifted, a strange and powerful strength seemed to flow into the men in the valley. Joshua and his soldiers pushed forward, driving back the tide of their enemies with renewed vigor. But time is a heavy burden, even for the most faithful. As the hours passed and the sun climbed to its zenith, Moses felt the searing ache in his shoulders. His muscles began to tremble, and despite his iron will, his hands started to slip. Slowly, the staff dipped toward the earth, and as it did, the momentum in the valley below shifted back toward the foe.